course, that was it. I couldn't see him, but I knew he was there, his spooky hands upon my elderly hips, burning with passion through my easy wash nightie. His ghostly member felt like Casper's arm holding an apple. I'm having one, I screamed as his ectoplasm shot all across my bazungas before I heard his voice whisper softly in my ear, "Fuck the Tories." Oh, I'm sorry. You just caught me reading a particularly erotic chapter of my grandmother's journal. Oh,
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS Adequate. Our ongoing mission, until we are cancelled and replaced by something far superior, to review every episode and movie of Star Trek in existence, to seek out new guests and make them very uncomfortable, to boldly go where many other Candleslags have gone before. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, treks and trekkers all over the planet, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to a very special episode of Trekking Up North. For it is our first anniversary.
isn't that actually crazy?
It is
We've
terrifying.
got to a year of doing this bullshit.
And what's even more terrifying is we have not one special guest in Isaac, but we have two special guests in the form of
The
Sir
Ronan
Mark,
from the candle?
Sir Mark of Cartier, who decides to join after I just got everything
together. Is that you, Ronan? Ronan, come here.
Oh no, it's gone terribly wrong.
Get him.
Are you there,
doing,
Mark? Can you hear me, Mark? He's waving.
I can. Can you hear me?
God damn you for causing this. Right.
Where is Mark today?
Where's
I
Mark
always
today?
expect you to phone in and just be like, I'm in the trunk of Patrick Stewart's car. It's a bit dark.
It's okay. I've been there so often that I've left some personal items, so it's kind of comfy.
You just pick them up again. You're just like, oh, I forgot this last time.
Well,
I need these jam eater shirts, Isaac.
Pittsburgh.
I love it.
well,
Oh, fix me, Goodwill. I'm only
I'm
half a
fixing you,
person.
man. Will you slow down? Will you just keep the audience entertained, will you? I'm
Oh,
busy.
I can't do it.
I can't-
Didn't like that candle.
Well, everybody, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is Trekking Up North, and as always, the U.S.S. Adequate is mildly broken. There we go. Everybody is there. Nope, not just yet. He's nearly there. He's nearly there. He's nearly there. Don't shake your head at me. This is
Come on,
live.
move me over there.
I'm trying. Shut up, you ginger slag. Right. The
Candleslag.
Oh my god. There
I
we
have
go.
so many green candles. I have just a table full of green candles.
Well,
and they're not showing up on the camera.
It
So
is-
it's like,
It is our first anniversary doing Trekking Up North, and it wouldn't be Trekking Up North if we didn't have emergency maintenance straight at the beginning of the episode. I need this Romulan ale right now. My first question to everybody is, I'll start with Medical Officer Beverly Snatch.
Beverly Snatch.
Who I've got a sneaking suspicion maybe Science Officer Synoiz, who's had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, it's like,
How are you? How are you this week?
I've just been like, I've sat on the wrong instrument, but I'm doing really well. It's kind of shocking because we were joking about this of going, oh yeah, we'll have our like 1 year anniversary eventually, and then we're like, wait, isn't it next week? And we're like, no, we started it much later than. No. Oh, okay. And we didn't realize like until we just started recording last week, and then the Dabo wheel it giveth, and it gave us this.
You fixed it.
I cannot
you
think
bastard.
of a better episode to get for our anniversary than this one, because from the start we've been fingers crossed, Candleslag or Code of Honor, and we got one of them at last.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I saw that happen. I saw that wheel spin, and I'm kind of in Goodwill's camp. I think it was rigged.
Everyone thinks it's rigged, and it genuinely wasn't. It's
He says this.
genuinely...
He says this, but there was some ferocious typing before we went live, and then all I heard was, and I was just like, some shenanigans are about to happen. Some doings are transpiring.
It's why I'm so amused by it, because yeah, like, it's like even even if I'd chosen to fix it, it would have still been perfect. But like, no, it wasn't fixed. It is very random, and I'm very pleased that we got this one.
I have one final question for you before we move on to the wonderful Isaac. Synoiz, are you bringing that wig to Vegas?
No. If I'm wearing a wig, I will be wearing a better one. This is cheap shit.
You are making me question my sexuality.
I'll do a Scully cosplay.
I have a thing.
We'll get all of the
for redheads.
Gingers out of the way.
I have a thing for redheads, and he emerged, and I'm just like, So, anyway, moving on to the land down under. It is very early in the morning in Australia's, which many people believe is fake and does not exist. Isaac from Unplanned Trek, the jam eater in a flat cap. How are you this Saturday morning, sir?
I'm really good. And first of all, congratulations to you guys for 1 year. That's fantastic. Big fan of the show and excited to be here today. As a returning guest, I'm actually wondering, am I worthy of a place on the U.S.S. adequate? Can I have a role, or am I just
have you seen us,
Dalen Quace, and just walk around the ship and not really know, and then disappear? Is that my role?
How like allergic to death are you? Because that depends. That determines where we put you.
Yeah, look, you can only really test these things by exposing me to it, I guess. But
well,
I mean, mild rash would be how I describe it.
The thing you need to remember about the U.S.S. Adequate is the cocktail bar's on deck 6 and the geese roam freely on deck 12. That's why deck 12 is forever sealed, because someone decided to unlock all the cages.
That's it. Well,
but no,
our Geesian bastards will soon take control.
Because Science Officer Synoiz is a Geesian from the planet Honk. Honk. Absolutely wonderful to have you here, Isaac. Moving on to the man, the myth, the legend, the one who consumes all the whiskey. Live from the Shuttlepod Show studio, dental office, massage and chiropractic dentistry. It is Mark Cartier of the Shuttlepod Show. Hello, sir. How are you this Friday?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Yes.
Yes.
I have been preparing for this show all week, and I have not left this chair all day because I have been so excited and mildly terrified at the prospect of discussing Sub Rosa with Science Officer Synoiz, because I knew deep down the wig was coming out.
Yeah. I'm glad it did. I got to say, when that image of popped up on my computer, I was so pleased. I was like, of course, amazing.
Just like,
I want to echo what Isaac just said. Congratulations on your anniversary. That's really exciting. Also, big fans of what you guys do. And as a returning guest, I too think I deserve a position on the ship, even if it's silly, like, Neelix or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Cheesemaker.
Even though replicators exist.
Yes.
Mark, I asked for a position, but I wasn't given one. I was just told not to.
Yeah, that's it.
You were given the no, sure, maybe.
We need to work out a crew roster. We need to work out a crew roster that we slowly fill up of people. Like,
I think
I think that's a great idea. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm very excited that you finally get to talk about Sub Rosa, and I'm sorry that I will not be able to be here. I actually have to go. We've got a big sort of last-minute meeting for our live event and the charity money that we're raising for the show. So this year's live event for us has a lot of a big charitable component. We've got a very large financial goal for a couple of charities that we're going to announce soon. So I apologize for not being able to be here for the whole thing, but I wanted to say happy anniversary.
Do you want to
No,
promote
it's
the
so
live
good
event
to have you.
while you're here?
Say again?
Do you want to promote the live event while you're here?
Live event, April 12th, 13th, 14th.
I love it. We're like, we got that bit. We knew that
I'm
was the bit
doing
that
a
didn't
thing.
clarify.
Yeah.
There's a thing on, yeah.
The Shuttlepod Show live event in April.
That's the schedule right there.
What? That's
Whoa,
a lot of words.
Be
That's
fun.
quite the manifesto you've got going on.
It's 3 days of watching Star Trek celebrities do staged plays, table reads of Star Trek episodes, and lots of other guests. There's going to be autographs. There's going to be an art gallery of Star Trek fan art. So if you have Star Trek fan art and you want it to participate in the gallery, there's going to be a silent auction during our whole event for it, and proceeds are going to be matched to go to one of a couple of charities. So it'll be fun. And then I believe we're working right now. In fact, we're working on a number of celebrities hosting. We're putting up an auction, a live auction, so that a number of very popular celebrities will be hosting the winner of the auction for an evening in the Magic Castle. And if you don't live in LA, we'll figure out a way to make sure that you can get here.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be
incredible.
Absolutely fun.
When I heard live reads of some scripts, I'm assuming Sub Rosa and I'm assuming Synoiz is big.
Can you imagine? I would love to do that, a read, but it's all the scenes where she's just on her own pretending to climax. So it's just me sort of in front of the audience being like, having one.
I can take a little bit of, I'm kind of okay with needing to miss this conversation today, because Isaac and I will be talking about this episode again soon on Trek's countdown of 50 Shades of Trek,
That's right.
the countdown of the 50 sexiest episodes of Star Trek. So
Have we got to number 1 already? Is that
no?
That's gone
we're
down
at 43, I think.
Hang on.
This isn't the sexiest.
Hang on. Sub Rosa is sexy. I might be missing something here. I thought she was just unwell. But no, the Shuttlepod Show live show, April, I believe it's 12th to the 14th, 13th to the 14th.
12th to the 14th, yeah.
12th to the 14th. That is it the Gary Marshall Theatre still?
A couple of events will be at the Gary Marshall Theater, and then the other events will be around town. Yeah.
So look for the Shuttlepod Show on all your socials. Yours truly is venturing all the way out west to be there and annoy everybody there. I might wear 1 or 2 uniforms, and I might actually do an episode of Trekkin Up North where I'm just like, hello.
Yeah. You should do that.
You'll be brilliant.
Do that while you're here. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm encouraging anyone to do an episode of the show from the event this year.
Count us in, 100%.
And if we can help make that happen, we will. We
Absolutely.
did a little bit of it last year, and we got some guests pulled aside for some of the podcasters who were there. It was fun.
So yeah. And
then I believe, Captain Goodwill, you are going to be participating in our quiz Trek Trivia Explosion test shoot later today.
Yes, I am. Later on today.
So, we'll see you. And Isaac, are you going to be there too?
Yeah, I'll be there too. Yeah,
he'll be there too.
It's going to be a busy couple of months.
It's Saturday where Isaac is.
It is. It is. But no, lovely to have you on, Mark, and I will speak to you later. So.
Before you go though, Mark, quickly, what do you think of this episode in 5 words or less?
It's so bad. It's good.
There we go. Okay,
yeah, that's it. That's it. And with that, we bid Mark farewell as he escapes the punishment.
See y'all. Hi, everyone in the chat. Talk to you. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
See, he's done it right. He's done it where he's got the featured tag, but he hasn't had to sit through talking through Sub Rosa for like 2 hours.
So, Isaac, while I sort out while I sort
Do I
out...
have to go too? Or
No,
can I
no, no, no. While I sort out Science Officer Synoiz, Synoiz, do you want to talk about Unplanned Trek and what is going on with the 100th episode?
Sure thing, yeah. So I host or co-host a podcast called Unplanned Trek with my good friend Andrew Hogan. And what we do or have done historically is similar to the Darbo wheel, used the random number generator and picked a random episode across all canon to look at. And what we do is, instead of reviewing it, we give out votes. So we give out a 3, 2, and 1 to the best characters, and a 3, 2, and 1 to the worst characters. We give out medals for fighting, for romance, for pets, and we also have recently got the Neelix medal for any food within the episode. We also look out for anyone that dies, and in this episode, there's a character, Sub Rosa that is, that actually dies twice, which is something that's really exciting for our medals. What we've started doing this year is what Mark alluded to, something called the 50 Shades of Trek, which was where I decided to make a list of the 50 sexiest moments of Trek and do a countdown of them in our format. So what we're doing now is live rewatches. So we watch it with the sound down and have a conversation while it's on, which is similar to like a DVD audio commentary, except, well, I was going to say, we don't stay on the subject, but they never tended to either. And then we give out the votes and do those medals at the end. So it comes out every week, and we're counting down the sexiest moments. So we're only up to about episode 43. Mark said Sub Rosa is soon. It's not soon. It's going to be a long way deep into that.
It's got to be top 10. I'm sorry.
It's top 10. It is, but it's not number one
because it's sexy as fuck.
I absolutely love doing the 50 Shades of Trek, because as many of our viewers know, I've been a guest a couple of times on them, and I have so much fun with you guys, because it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 meets horny Star Trek, where we just sit there, we're just like, yep, they're climaxing. Oh yeah, they're and it's like when we watched Up the Long Ladder, and we just created like this mythos of like the clones were actually like based their entire civilization on bowling, and you know the other colonists were just Irish stereotypes that were just fired into space, and like, why the Irish? Yes, because they are travelers. We can't say the word gypsy anymore because they are travelers, and it's just.
But you will.
But I will, because I don't.
But
care.
you can't say traveler either.
No, you can't.
Traveler.
But it's.
Wait, hold on. Are we saying that the traveler who takes like Wesley, is he a gypsy?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
All right, is that what happens? Okay, I thought
I'm glad someone said that takes Wesley. Like he kidnapped him.
I mean, he sort of did.
Hello, I can give you mystical powers. Just get in my white van. It's like, okay, traveler.
So hang on. This very old bean groomed this teenager, and okay, right,
yeah.
that's fine.
Through warp engineering.
Oh, how Wesley Crusher got groomed by the traveler. That is. Yeah. That's a hot take.
I took you to the end of the universe. How are you going to repay me? But I'm now Doctor Who.
I was going to say.
Go on.
I was going to say, the funny thing about the rewatches we do is we just talk like we are now until something sexy happens, and then everyone's like this. And then it finishes, and we start talking again. Yeah.
You're just staring at the camera, but occasionally the tongue flicks out. So you're like.
Oh dear! Oh my!
Just like a lizard.
But no, I love it.
Fun. We're doing a Deep Space Nine one tomorrow. We're doing Shattered Mirror, so it's where Kira is a bit all dominatrixy in the mirror universe.
Oh, it's bisexual, yeah. Kira. It is. Yep. Yeah. The shock on Synoiz's face when I just. No, I
think it's the sort of thing of any mirror universe entry is probably valid for sexiest episodes of Trek, because they basically go in the mirror universe, everyone's a deviant.
It's an awesome way to spend a Saturday night with these guys as well.
Thank you.
So you were going to say, Isaac?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say it's just a lot of fun. So
yeah.
what we do, we press play with the sound down. We encourage other people to do the same. So we give you a bit of a countdown before we hit play, and we do it every week. So feel free to head over if you want to tomorrow. It's about, what time is it now? It's probably going to be in about 27 hours time if you're watching here live that we go live.
And Unplanned Trek's YouTube channel is in the description below, as well as their Spotify page if you want to listen to the audio version on there. So that's right down in the description, right below. Not just below this just ginger person right here. Yeah, look down. There you go. There. No, not there. There.
All I found was my pert breasts.
Okay. Yeah. So like.
In the description too.
So like
and another chapter from my grandma's erotic diary. My word, Granny.
Moving swiftly on.
Candle fuckers.
Moving, so I can hear mine. I can actually hear it, like crackling, and it's just like.
Wants you, Goodwill.
Like I said,
you.
Good evening.
It's gay Ronan.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everybody in the chat. We've got Becca, we've got Christopher, we've got Joe Border, we've got the Shuttlepod Show, we have got Captain's Quadrant. Hello, Joe. We've got the Delectable Lee, we've got Beth, we've got Jake, we've got Slack Twaddle here as well. Hey, Slack Twaddle, we've got Peaches, we've got we've got Nancy as well. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for everyone turning up to our first anniversary extravaganza. We do have a couple of video messages, Science Officer Synoiz and Isaac, that we need to play. Did you hear about these? Well, be prepared.
Well, Kirky tried to send me one on WhatsApp, but I think she must have like let her finger let go or something. So it was like 2 seconds long, and I was like, I hope that's not the fucking message. Right?
But no,
so I haven't actually seen any of these, which is quite good.
But we do have an incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission.
Hello. It is a very special day. Today is Trekking Up North's first anniversary. Yeah.
All being
was that not working? Was there a technical issue?
No, there was no sound on it. Make sure in that scene there's an audio source, maybe.
No, it was definitely working. Computer replay again.
Hello. It is a very special day. Today is Trekking Up North's first anniversary. Yeah! So just want to say a big thank you to Captain Goodwill and Sign Officer Synoiz. I can't say it. Like I say, it's been an amazing journey. Like I say, the adventure continues. Love the passion, love the growth, love how you used to interact, and just hope it continues forever and ever and ever, and ever and ever and ever. Love you guys. Well done. So proud. Keep it going. Candleslag.
Anniversary to Trekkin Up North, Captain Goodwill, Science Officer Synoiz. Thank you so much for having me on as a guest this year. And I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to watch live tonight. I'll be reading a particularly erotic part of my grandmother's journal.
Hey everybody at Trekkin Up North. It's David, your favorite Strange New Worlds background actor and friend. Just want to say congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. What a hell of a year it's been for you guys. I just want to say thanks for bringing me on board in your December 2023 review episode. It was one of the most fun times of the year for me. It's great knowing you all. I hope nothing but success for you guys going forward, and here's to many more. All the best, everybody.
God bless the lot of them. The lovely cult leader Paul, Candleslag, General Kirky, and the most handsomest Canadian who ever Canadianed in nice France, David Jones from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Absolutely love the lot of them. What absolutely humbled by it all.
Is to Canada a verb now? Is
to Canada?
Have you been Canadaing today?
Have you Canadian? Have you Canadian?
Yeah.
How can maple syrup?
But that was one holiday years ago.
Well, we can't avoid it any longer. We are.
Okay, first of all, before we do this, who went into this going, okay, it can't be as bad as I remember it. Let's just give it a watch. And then went, oh.
I'm going to book the trend here. I'm going to book the trend, and because I see the most positive part of any Star Trek episode, okay, except Requiem for Methuselah, but it wasn't as bad as I remembered. I think there is some positives within it. However, the positives are outweighed heavily by some very questionable negatives. I heard a lot of banjos, and I was very uncomfortable with certain scenes, which we will discuss later on. Visually, though, it was stunning. I think this is probably one of the prettiest episodes of The Next Generation that they ever made. It's just, oh god, that the grandmother staring at me on the screen. It's absolutely terrifying.
Can I just say that is one of the most ludicrous scenes in all of Star Trek?
That scarred me. That scarred me for life as a child. I did not watch Sub Rosa for about 12 years after that because it terrified me.
Really?
Yeah, it absolutely. Because I never watched horror as a child. I never saw any horror movies or anything like that. And to see like this old woman in a coffin open her eyes and just sit upright, like many poos came out as a child. So it scarred me for life, that one.
That is crazy because it's like I have that down as one of the silliest moments of the episode, like where I just can't not laugh during that bit because I'm like, what is this? How did this happen? You know, like this was on paper and they were like, let's go with that. So it's great knowing that what they intended actually worked for someone who isn't a weirdo like me.
Isaac,
the surprise for me is that this is so deep into next gen. Like this is what, season 7? Yeah,
this is
feels like season 1.
This is season 7, episode 14. So this is not even midway. This is towards the end of a 7-year run.
Yeah.
The whole thing about this episode feels like they just had scripts that they wanted to do and they were trying to get them in somehow before they closed up. That's how it feels to me. They're like, I want to do a ghost story. How do we do it? We don't know. We'll work it out, you know. That's how it felt to me.
Wasn't this script Brannon Braga?
I'm not sure if it was. If it was, I don't think he came up with the idea.
Okay. But what were you going to say?
If you told me this was like season 1, episode 6, I would believe you. Like it does feel like it. But the problem with Sub Rosa is we treat it like it's an episode of Star Trek. You've got to treat it like it's not science fiction, and then you might like it. If you hold it up to a Star Trek standard, then it's a really bad episode.
That's what
it's like a one and done episode of Scotland and Ghost.
So Joe Border has just confirmed. Joe Border has just confirmed it was a Brannon Braga episode and Frakes directed.
Yes, he did.
Do we know that it's an in-joke or something? Like, did the cast like laugh at this? Because like she can't have been happy having to do this episode.
She wasn't. Gates McFadden was not happy.
She does not feel comfortable in this episode. Like, you know, she doesn't appear to be enjoying herself, I think.
If Brannon Braga wrote this, within 2 years he also wrote Threshold. He was having a bad time. He wasn't in a good way. I hope he had support.
He got it all out of the way before he moved on to Voyager, Better Voyager, and everything else after that. That's all I'm going to say. Without Sub Rosa and Threshold, we wouldn't have had Enterprise. So that's all I'm going to say for that.
But to be fair,
been a long road.
To go back to what you were saying, Isaac, it's like I agree with you. This does not feel like a Trek episode. Like I was judging this like Trek, and it's just a bit too over the top and surreal. Like in terms of going, there's so many. Oh, we just added new things into it that's never existed before, and it all just kind of vaguely works together. So I class this as one of the worst episodes of Star Trek, but possibly one of the best episodes of Doctor Who. It's like that kind of, it passes that line of like ludicrousness that, you know, you're like, okay, this is probably a really good episode of Doctor Who. You know, it's...
So the gentle dogs is just sorry, go on.
Sorry, my 12-year-old tricky son, I introduced it to this week when I was doing the rewatch. And I introduced it as, this is either your favourite episode of Trek or the worst thing you've ever seen. But there's no middle ground here.
No, there is no. It's. Yeah, I mean, the Gentle Docs has just confirmed in the chat there it was a double writing credit. It was Jerry Taylor and Brannon Braga who. No, sorry. Joe Border confirmed it was Jerry Taylor and Brannon Braga. The Gentle Docs said it seems like an episode from the original series that was rejected, found again, and then rewritten for the next generation. It does feel like an original series episode, I must admit.
It feels like a script they wanted to get out the way before the series finished. You know, like someone who'd be like, there's probably one guy who was going every season. He was like, "Oh, can we do the Ghost Candle episode?" And they're like, "No, can we do that?"
Not this year. Not this year.
And then it's at the end. He's like, well, "Look, we've only got like 7 episodes left. Okay, we'll do the Ghost Candle episode."
So, Synoiz, as you are so enamoured with this episode, as in you rigged the friggin' wheel, would you like to read the premise of the episode for our wonderful audience?
But I don't have it, but I'll tell you what happens in it. Basically, they're in. Okay, so where do we start? Okay, so they are in space Scotland. They're on a planet called Caldos, which is a recreation. It's like Disneyland, where they've recreated Scotland on this planet with aliens who want to be Scottish. And so it's all these castles, and I don't know if they just set it up in like an existing set that another show was using or something. But basically, it has a churchyard, it has an old house and stuff. And basically, Beverly Crusher is at the funeral of her grandma, who moved to this planet. And and at the funeral, as they're saying words, a strange, beautiful man with long hair throws a flower into the grave. And they all wonder, like, oh, who was this mysterious man who's done such a sort of romantic gesture to her grandma's grave? And then when she goes back to the actual house to sort through her grandma's things, she finds out that she had a secret lover, and that man was actually her secret, like, 65-year younger boyfriend.
Yeah, she's 100 years old, and she was knocking boots with a 34-year-old. Now, Operation U-Tree, obviously he's not around in the 24th century, but some doors might have been knocked where they're just like...
I just love the idea that it's just this guy working through all of the family members, basically, and it's like, oh, that's a bit creepy. That's a bit Leonardo DiCaprio. Anyway, but it's the idea, well, you know, it's like, oh, well, she's got to 100. Let's find another one. But... well, no, sorry, I meant 21. But it is the idea of how like terrifying it is, because in the house she finds like an old candle that her grandma always used to keep lit, and then her journals. And as she's reading through the journals, she realizes they're really, really erotic, and they've got all these erotic stories. And then she starts feeling weird. And basically, every time she enters the house, she starts having one where Gates McFadden has to act as though she's being like
penetrated
by a ghost, which is and I'm gonna say I don't think the acting in this is brilliant, but then if you told me, okay, act like you're being touched up by a ghost and you're climaxing, I think I would struggle. I think that is something that acting school never prepares you for, really.
Speaking of a good poll, we did have a poll on the Nerdy Up North Twitter about this episode and on the Nerdy Up North Discord, answers of which we will give you at the end of the episode because, oh boy, it was a doozy. Because obviously the Next Generation is now in HD, glorious 1080p, so we can actually see the diary. Okay, there was a handwritten diary in the episode. And I'm like, oh, you know, the grandmother had a lover. Oh, that's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, this journal about Ronin, who is the lover, must have been going on for years and everything like that. Nope. The entry is from the 15th of September 2369, literally a week or so before she passed away. And I'm just like...
She was getting it. We can only but hope that we're still getting it.
But my question is, did she die of natural causes?
She died happy. That's the important thing.
Well, she got shot by Bev as well, didn't she? Or Geordie and Data at the end. Like, she died twice.
She
That's
did.
it.
She died twice. Would she qualify for the Keiko medal as well as the most useless character because she was just dead all the way through?
Oh, it sounds like a Bond film, doesn't it? Some nanas die twice. It's just...
See, my hero of the piece is Ned Quint. Nobody listens or mourns Ned Quint.
Didn't light that
He's
candle.
warning you not to do
There we go.
anything.
I
He's
need to
right.
hear you say it, Isaac.
Yeah, Ned Quint was right the whole time. Don't light your candles. Don't read your nana's diary. Just get out of here and go back to, I don't know, Vulcan or somewhere. Maybe even just fight the Borg. It's going to be an easier day than handling that diary.
Also, like the existence of Space Scotland perpetrates the existence of Space England and Space Wales.
No. It's not. It needs to be more specific than that, because I was thinking if they've recreated Scotland, not very well, I might add.
Yeah, there was no Aldi's.
Well, he's just like, oh, it's raining in the middle of summer. Oh, this is horrible. And you're like, it's meant to be Scotland.
fucking Scotland.
The fact the sun's out should be a surprise. But,
And we've seen the one with the whales, so that's already been covered.
Yeah.
What about like Space Birmingham, where you just have a planet where they're like, we've recreated Birmingham, and they're like, why did you do this? This alien's like, oh, I remember I went to Birmingham bus station when I was a boy.
I saw the tourist video from Terry Savalas and I was like, I must recreate this thing on a planet.
The cornerstone from all of our buildings came from Birmingham, and
is
half
that
of them
why?
have already collapsed.
Is that why, in the history of Star Trek, we have never had a Brummie? Because they colonized another world and then became isolationists, and were like, no, we don't want to be part of your United Federation.
Well, I think what they did is they waited till it was colonized and then blew the planet up. They were just like... They're like, right, oh, okay. It was just Cisco being like, I've done some bad things. This is not one of them.
Is that why he got promoted? Because he blew up Space Birmingham?
Let's say that. That's the before the episode where he makes captain. That's what he does.
Joe Bott has just got...
So go on. Ned Quint would be at the bus station in Birmingham shaking his head like, oh, it's late again.
Don't you get on that bus, like... Joe Bott has just went Space Island with its dependent moon, Northern Space Island.
I just love it though that like Ned is, you're right, Ned is totally right, but you get the impression that he just got friend zoned by this nana a very long time ago.
Yeah,
he's like fucking Candle. Oh, I would have been right in there.
I washed my hands of you. And you...
I'm glad you wash your hands, Ned. That's good.
A spurned lover. He's just like, she's 100 years old and she's still getting pegged. Where's mine? And it's just...
Take off the beret, Ned. It's not doing anything.
What is that beret?
Wait,
that is a tea warmer.
It's really weird because it's not even like a Scottish... It doesn't look like a Scottish cap. It just looks like they got a beret from a shop and went, yeah, Scottish. Fuck it.
Isaac is more Scottish than Ned at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, I was thinking that. I actually don't think it's a beret. I think it's the bag from the bagpipes. He's wearing bagpipes.
I'm honestly gonna say, like, obviously we have like in Wrath of Khan, which we're gonna be doing next week. We have it where the Scottish person plays bagpipes, because how could we have a film that doesn't include that? And in this, I was genuinely shocked that there's no bagpipes at all. And I was like, how did they do Space Scotland? And the Americans resisted putting bagpipes in.
They did do Fog on the Bridge of the Enterprise, though, for some reason.
That's more Newcastle than it is than it is Scotland. Because as soon as I saw
the bridge is all mine, all mine.
Yeah.
Fog on the prize, it's all mine, all mine.
Fog on the prize is all mine. It's
that won't make any sense to you at all, Isaac. That is the most niche Newcastle thing.
Isaac's just going, why am I on this show?
No, I'm just happy to be here. You know, sometimes you sit back and you just be in the audience. It's fine.
Why couldn't Ned have been like that? He's just happy to know this sexy granny nanny.
So let's get, God Almighty. So Crusher discovers the journal.
Yeah.
And she starts reading the journal. And she goes back to the Enterprise, and she's having a nice sleep. And we see the negligee being removed, and then we hear Beverly. And then we get the next scene. I'm waiting for you, Synoiz. We get the next scene.
The next scene is one of my favorite scenes in all of Trek, and I'm really pleased. Like, obviously, we worry on this podcast about getting demonetized a lot because we're going, hey, you're not allowed to show a certain clip of stuff. But we've decided, because this is our anniversary episode, we're just going to show you the full clip from the show as it appears, just so you can see how ludicrous this scene is, and also how beautiful Beverly Crusher is in this episode. It's really good.
So, as it's our first anniversary, to hell with monetization. Computer.
Cut off by YouTube.
Computer, roll the clip.
Hello.
That's not the clip. Computer, roll the clip again. God damn it, the adequates.
You dreamt you were in bed with someone?
Not exactly. I was in bed. But there wasn't another person in my dream. It was more like a presence.
You said you felt a touch.
A pair of hands. They were moving across my skin.
Like a caress?
Yes. And there was a voice, a man. He whispered my name. It was as if I knew him. Or more like he knew me. He knew exactly how I liked to be touched. It was the most physical dream I've ever had. The sensations were very real and extremely arousing.
Frankly, I'm envious.
I did fall asleep reading a particularly erotic chapter in my grandmother's journal.
I can't remember Troy looking like that.
Yeah, Troy looks different. I think maybe it's the HD that's like made her look a bit strange or something.
Okay, so I'm suddenly very aroused. So yeah, talk me through this scene.
This is this scene is basically
the hat's going on. By
what
the
you
way.
heard there. It's yay, body hats. I think that the problem is that, like, I don't know if this episode makes me a bit uncomfortable because it's like a lot of people talking about stuff that you don't want your characters talking about. Like, it is very much the idea of like Beverly Crusher just pretending to have orgasms and talking to Troy about it. And I wonder if there's like something deeper there that I'm sort of like freaked out by having this kind of discussion from these characters that are sort of put on a pedestal. It's kind of nice though, because it shows that they have like multiple sides to them. It adds a lot of depth to the characters. But yeah, this scene is just like, I never wanted to hear Beverly Crusher say the words like arousing or that phrase. It's like, well, I did stay up late reading a particularly erotic chapter of my grandma's journal.
Right, surely.
And then Troy's like, if I was you, I'd read 2 chapters tonight.
I think the awkward bit about it isn't necessarily them talking about romance, sex, whatever, because they do that. They do that all the time when it's just those two. Anyway, like this isn't the first scene of them talking about relationships or that. I think what's awkward about it is more this is in my grandma's diary, and oh great, tell me more. Like if I found my grandfather's diary and was reading you passages of it, you wouldn't be like, yeah, keep going, mate. You'd be like, ixnay on the grandpa, you know? It's not cool.
Are you saying that we shouldn't be sharing sexual escapades of family members, elderly family members with strangers or with like friends?
Look, I don't mean to sound conservative. Yeah, that's
I think we should all do this, okay? Everyone in the chat, this is your mission for the weekend.
as Isaac
ruin someone's wedding with this conversation.
As Isaac said, conservative, fuck the Tories. But it made me as I hadn't seen it I hadn't seen it for a long time, but then when you rewatch it with more mature eyes and you listen to the scene and you go, okay, why are you reading your grandmother's porn? Why are you being aroused by your grandmother getting railed by a 34-year-old? And what makes you think that someone else would be absolutely comfortable with the fact that you're telling them that you are aroused by reading your grandmother getting railed by a 34-year-old?
Yeah. It's,
and then what? And then why would you be interested in him too?
Yeah.
I think that's what
I
I kind of
always
get
go
bothered
for
by,
both
the
that,
idea
yeah.
that like she's literally like within about 2 days jumping in bed with this guy who's just like, oh yeah, I love you now.
It's Kirk levels
fuck
of
the dead
moronic.
woman. And you're like,
yeah. But it's Kirk levels of moronic, as we saw in Requiem for Methuselah, where Kirk's just like, I've known this woman for 2 hours. I am completely in love with him. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm fighting over a woman. And you're just like, dude, it's been 2 hours. Crusher's just like, she gets, she gets enamored with a thing.
Well, I will say though, okay, that before she reads the journal, doesn't she have an experience with Ronan? Like she does get a touchy-feely. She gets like a free sample, doesn't she, before she starts reading the journal? So
yeah, but it's
I
at the
can only
funeral.
assume that
It's
that
at-
was
yeah,
the
it's at the
best
funeral.
of her entire fucking life. You know,
It's at the funeral where she sees him drop the flower on the coffin. But then obviously he just comes in.
He's like, hello, boys.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact he just comes into her quarters and starts removing her negligee. And then, like, oh God, this episode just makes me feel so uncomfortable because as we see it progress through the episode, it just gets worse and worse. Where, yeah, like the intimate scenes between Ronan and Beverly are just the worst things I have ever seen in my life. And I feel so sorry for Gates McFadden because we very rarely got a Crusher episode. Very, very rarely. And it's the end of the season, it's the end of Star Trek The Next Generation. It's the latter half of season 7. We get a Crusher episode and it's Sub Goddamn Rosa. We never got redemption for her until season 3 of Star Trek Picard, 20 odd years later.
yeah. It is
30 odd years later.
It
nearly.
sucks. Like she got a raw deal of this, I think.
I mean, more than one thing got raw when
Well, that was
ghost,
just Ronan.
when Ronan manifested himself. But
But like I was saying earlier, it's also the fact of like, the acting isn't amazing in bits, but I think it's because she didn't care about the script. And how do you do that scene? I have no idea how you meant to do what they're asking her to do in particular scenes because it's so.
But she nailed it.
Yeah, she does very well at it, and you're just like, I could not have done anything like that.
So taking a sideways step for a moment, imagine your name's Duncan Regger for a moment. You've got a contract for an episode of Star Trek where you're playing Ronan the Love Ghost. You're deep into season 7 of a very successful franchise, and you're thinking, I'm minted. I'm going to be in this for years. And then you're only in it for this episode. Poor Duncan.
I love the idea that it's like
something got dumped.
You're the guest star in one of the most infamous episodes. So it's kind of like,
oh, am I going to be a Klingon? No.
But also,
am I going to be a Vulcan? No. Am I going to be a Borg? No.
Yeah,
you're going to be a love guy.
We're going to have to say it, David. You could have been a ghost slut. Anyway,
yeah, that's it, David. David, you missed out. You played fancy army guy. It's cool, but were you a slut ghost?
Yeah.
They'll bring you back. The candle comes back, and it's David.
I mean, this is all. I mean, again, Sub Rosa for the infamous A plot. It does have a B plot where the planet's weather system is playing up, and as we've already alluded to, they're like, "Oh, I hope there is no unexpected rain. There is a caber toss tomorrow," and it's just like it's space Scotland.
Well, it does actually, because I wrote it down as a note that going, hey, that's not very realistic. But then it later has him saying, like going, oh, I've got a cold. And it's, when we tried to recreate Scotland, we didn't want it this accurate. So they kind of acknowledge that it's a Disneyland. It's not a real like recreation. It's basically it looks like Scotland, but it doesn't act like Scotland.
But my question
at least
is,
it's got that kind of awareness. But I'm willing to say that the B plot in this is actually even sillier than the A plot because it's just Data and Geordie running around, going, "Why is there fog on the Enterprise?" You know, and this is the thing. Why does the B plot happen?
Yeah,
I don't understand because basically. Okay, so spoilers, obviously, but everyone in the chat should have watched this episode before tuning in because it is an amazing. No, it's an episode of Star Trek.
You need to watch it to experience it.
But it's that idea of basically the B plot is that for some reason all of the weather controls for this planet that has been specially created have started messing up, and that the lightning storms are happening and rain's happening and everything's like there's green clouds everywhere that are all very ghostly and stuff. But it never explains why this is happening. It kind of just goes, oh, it's because the Nana died and she's got like what's it called, anamorphic radiation or something.
She's got anaphasic. There's an anaphasic field surrounding the grandmother.
But like, how is that disrupting the weather patterns? So it suggests that Ronan is doing it deliberately for no real reason.
Why?
But then why hasn't this happened in the past? Because if this has happened every time there's been a sort of, I don't know, it seems very odd.
It made no sense because like I tried my best today. I tried so hard to listen to the episode, but the B plot, I was like, okay, right. The weather system is playing up. They are detecting anaphasic particles, radiation, whatever, right? Why? Why is Ronan messing with the weather? What does he achieve by messing with the weather? My thing was, right, the weather should have been messed with if the Enterprise was interfering. If, say, like, the governor said, oh, our systems are a little bit older, they could do with a little bit of maintenance, would you mind helping out? Because we are starting to experience malfunctions because they haven't been fixed. Okay, fair enough, right? So as the Enterprise starts to repair the weather system and use the deflector dish to share power, that's when they detect the anaphasic stuff, and that's when Ronan starts to mess more with the environment. Like, it gets more extreme. Right. Do you see what I mean? So like, oh, it's raining. Oh, well, it wasn't planned to rain today. Oh, but the systems are 100 years old. They could do with an upgrade. Would you mind doing it? Yeah, sure. And then once Ronan starts interfering because he's beaming up to Crusher's quarters to Pega, then the green lightning comes. The fog on the prize happens, and do you know what I mean? And then Deck 13 doesn't have gravity. That would make more sense. This is just like, oh, the weather's playing up. Oh, it's because of anaphasic radio. Okay, why? Like, why would Ronan want to do that?
On Earth
why would Ronan do that? What does he gain from doing that apart from making the Enterprise stay there longer so Crusher stays? Right? That's the only way I justified it. Like, he did it to make the Enterprise stay longer so that he could absorb into Beverly Crusher. But then it's like...
And it's all stuff that a better script would have thought about and would have gone, hey, we just need a little aside there to go, oh, he's deliberately doing it so that they stay longer.
But I think...
Because it has a lot of ham-fisted exposition in this. Like the scene between Picard and the governor at the beginning, which literally is just an exposition dump of, this is Space Scotland, this is why it looks like Scotland, and this is why I moved here, and this is why I look like an alien. And it's really ham-fisted. This sort of like going, you could have worked this in a different way.
Did you notice the tombstones?
Yes.
No,
yes.
What? I didn't read the writing on the tombstone.
One tombstone was Vader. What was the other one, Isaac?
McFly.
Yeah.
I didn't notice this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Vader and McFly. But I think the script had more exposition in terms of the weather failures, and I think it was just cut out. Because it doesn't, like the way we reasoned it there, like old systems need upgrading, Enterprise is helping. Ronan then finds that if he keeps the Enterprise there, Crusher will stay there so he could absorb, merge with her. That would make more sense. But this is just like, he's just doing it for crack. Literally.
The thing is,
I think Joe Borders got it, though. Joe Borders said Ronan just wanted to ruin the Caber toss. That's the whole thing.
If they cut the explanation scenes, that means that they were worse than what was left in.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? What if it was literally just the scene before Picard, when Picard walks in and sees her sort of like having one on the chair? It was just that, but 10 minutes long. Just that single bit is just extended to that long.
I mean, the other part is when obviously Ronan explains that he needs the candle to be lit because Ned puts out the candle when he breaks into the house.
Ned appearing at the side there.
Yeah.
Just like, he looks like Space Hitler. Look at him. He's like Shitler.
Spittler.
Hitler.
And but he puts out the candle and then he warns Beverly, get rid of that dinner, light the candle, blah, 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 blah. Ronan is still there, but Ronan explains to Crusher that I need the candle to be lit, because it drains me to be my corporeal form. Why does he need the candle to be lit? What is the reasoning for the candle to be lit?
Yeah, it suggests that the candle is like this sort of plasma phylactery for him, but it's still this idea of going, but why? Like, we're used to Trek giving us some kind of pseudoscience explanation for stuff, but this literally just goes, yeah, he just lived in a candle and it was a plasma candle, and you're like, what? I don't know. Sorry,
but it's like, I
need more here.
It's like, because he explained at the end, he needed a biological component. Okay, that's fair enough. That's why he was pegging all the Howards. But that really sounds...
He needed a biological component that was compatible with him.
Yeah.
And that's why their bloodline, yeah.
But pegging the Howards sounds like a really bad Halifax commercial. But it's more... that's the biological component, but why the candle? Like, you could understand if it was like a genie in a bottle thing where, his essence is trapped within the fuel for the candle, which would make sense. But this just... It doesn't. It really doesn't. And it's annoying because this is a late series episode where we've had so much, pseudoscience, real science justifying many, many things. And this is just like, this ghost lives in a candle because, yes.
It very much, this whole episode feels very much like they had an idea of what they wanted to do when they worked back from there, rather than, in terms of going, okay, we've got a ghost that comes from a candle and it's seducing someone, and it's been seducing all of the women in their family. Cool. What show can we apply it to? Okay, we'll put it on Star Trek. Okay, well, how would it fit into Star Trek? He's not really a ghost. He's actually an alien anaphasic life form. And you're like, cool. And it just feels like that's as deep as they went, like they just kind of worked it in and went, okay, we'll make it sound a bit sciencey, and we'll just tie it in. And
do you feel though, because obviously Gates McFadden worked with what she had. We knew she read the script and she sighed.
Just like, oh God.
Yeah, she did. She really did. Yeah, a few times. Yeah, but in terms of her, like the speed of which Crusher fell in love with Ronan, again, I justified it with, yes, he was trying to merge his energy with the biological component. Do you think he sort of infected her with something that sort of enhanced her affections towards him?
The cool thing is that we do get stuff in the later scenes where she is like, when she gets the candle and she goes to the Enterprise, and she goes back to the Enterprise to light the candle, and she's like really, really fidgety and stuff.
Yeah.
So it does kind of suggest
like
that
a
she's
drug.
addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does suggest that like it's on a sort of biological level, that it's such an amazing sensation. It's such a high being with Ronan that it is clouding her mind and ruining her judgment effectively. And that does kind of come across, but in a very punky way,
Yeah, I feel like it's a story of addiction. So it feels to me that the more Ronan you have, the more Ronan you need.
How much Ronan is there to have, today. Isaac, would you say?
Yeah, there's a lot of Ronan.
There's a lot of Ronan.
And that's not even Ronan Keating.
Pretty girthy.
It's not even Ronan Keating. That's the thing. Like, at least he sings.
Hold on, imagine if it was... What if it reshoot this entire episode, but with Ronan Keating?
Well, it would be a very quiet episode, because he says it best when he says nothing at all.
Hey!
Thank you.
And on that, we'll end the episode.
I did not expect from a jam eater.
I know, yeah.
One of them.
A smile on
I'm
your
surprised
face.
You know who fucking Ronan Keating is? Fucking hell.
It's like the only thing I know about Ronan Keating.
That's it. There's two things about Ireland. It's Ronan Keating and Enya. There we go.
He's big on Space Island. Not so much in the dependent moon of Northern Ireland, but so the next bit
is there actually Joe's suggesting that the candle was made of roofie and she was inhaling it. Like, do you reckon the candle was just poppers and she's just like sitting there?
It could have been.
It's very green. You don't know what green is.
It's green.
It's green. Everything's green at the moment in this room. It's disturbing.
Another Scottish reference.
Yeah,
we just had that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
What is it? It's green. But the other issue I had, so obviously she gets more and more enamored all the way through the episode. Then she just makes the decision where she's just like, I'm resigning from Starfleet. Bye. And the fact that, well, no, I tell you what. I'm going to get to the other scene first with Troy and Crusher, where Troy comes in and goes, do you want to go do the splits again in the gymnasium like we normally do in our leotard? No, I'm in love. And it's just like, I'm in love with Ronan. Now, Deanna Troi is a bit of a shit counsellor in this episode. Because the first thing any good counsellor will go, whoa, hang on a minute, dude. Hang on a minute. You're doing it with your grandmother's lover a few days after your grandmother's funeral. What?
To be fair, she does, though. Like, she does basically go, look, you're both people who are grieving and this isn't like a healthy way to react. So she kind of touches on going, this might be a rebound thing, like hints at, but it's still the idea that she is like, but then Beverly just shuts her down, just goes like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting railed by a ghost, my grandma's lover.
I'm sensing confidence in your decision making.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go to Troy for the counselling though. She's not the best counsellor on board. Guinan's the best counsellor on board. If you really are struggling, you go to Guinan.
Well, remember the episode where Troy loses her, her powers, and then realizes actually she's crap at counselling. She's crap at psychology. It was just because she knew when she was saying something right.
Do you think that this episode would have benefited greatly if we had Guinan in it? Because Guinan would have probably finished the episode in 30 seconds. much like
the candle ghost. I met one of them
before. Much like O'Brien in Picard season 3, which we've alluded to for exactly a year today, that everything could have been sorted within 3 episodes because he's the greatest Starfleet officer who ever lived. Guinan would have just looked at her and just went, girl, are you fucking serious? This is a ghost, and you are doing the ghost that also did your grandmother. Do you know what I mean? And just sorted it out.
Or she would have gone the other extreme and been like, because remember that imaginary friend one? She's like, yeah, I believe you've got an imaginary friend. She might have been like, yeah, let's go out with Ronan together. Let's go out to the pub together and have a good time.
Yeah, to be fair, you get the impression that Guinan would be the worst, like, would be like the worst influence in the entire world. Be like, oh, is the sex great? Go for it,
Go for it.
I was thinking more, which other characters, how would have the other main characters of Next Gen gone with a sex ghost?
Riker.
Like,
Tasha Yar in a split second would have.
Riker,
that
obviously.
would have ticked a bingo card for Tasha Yar.
Yeah. Riker would have it on every square of his bingo card, but I'm not sure if many others would actually go with their grandparents' ghost lover. Picard's got mummy issues already. We know that. He wouldn't go there. Data, he's fully functional.
Geordie, because he's desperate.
Yeah, Geordie would. Geordie would be on the holodeck with Leah Brahms, so he wouldn't.
To be fair, it's a hop, step, and a jump from a hologram, really.
The thing is, right, in this episode as well, where's Riker? I mean, he's literally in one scene, and then that's it.
Well, that's it. Like, we get like one shot of Worf, I think. We get like Riker says something on the comm, and he's in the background where he's on the bridge when the mist is there, the fog. And that's it, basically. I think it's an interesting episode, though, because it's like not having the characters there isn't as bad as it would be in other episodes. Like, it kind of goes, look, they're here they're in shot. However, we don't.
Yeah,
need them.
it's like say a line, you get a paycheck, and then you can just forget this episode ever existed, like most people do.
But he's directing it.
Yeah, but
he doesn't want to be in this episode. He's directing it. He's like, yeah, I've seen the script. Yeah, let's minimize my involvement.
Wow, Lee
So
just
I'm
said.
just having a
So
look.
go on.
This episode is just a handful of episodes before Journey's End, which is the last episode with Wesley Crusher in it.
Yeah.
This episode needed Wesley.
The grooming one. Is that the
Yeah.
Journey's End?
The groomed. But if Wesley was here, like for one thing, Ronan wouldn't be interested in him. He only goes for the Howard women.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have, read the diary along, great grandma's diary, and made his mum see some sense.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting thing. It's the factor of Wesley's already gone at this point, hasn't he? He's already left with the Traveller. That was
just about to. He comes back for Journey's End. He comes back.
Hang on. Oh, so is he? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I was just gonna say because if he's on the Enterprise at this point, but he's not.
No.
Like,
He's not
his mum's just like, I resigned from Starfleet. I'm gonna go and see him. Imagine how uncomfortable that would be if your son was just in the house with you while you're getting like.
No, he's just killed off 20% of Nova Squadron and is kind of hanging around the seedy bars of San Francisco at the moment, I think.
Another scene I wanted to discuss, which again I thought was very stupid, was when Crusher resigns a commission from Starfleet and Picard barely puts up a fight with her, and it's just like, oh, I'm resigning my commission, beam me down. And he's just like, well, you can't just do that. No, I'm doing it. Okay, beam me down. So she beams down, and he's just like, okay.
I think the problem is that I think that scene kind of plays out properly because, she goes, oh, well, you can't stop me. And he's like, yeah, because he can't, But then she's just like, oh, well, are you going to kidnap me? No? Well, beam me down to the planet. And he kind of says, you're making a mistake, and it kind of works that way, but then he immediately goes, okay, yeah, I can't actually stop you beaming down, and resigning. However, although he does, there are episodes where he refuses people's resignation.
He does,
but then I guess to be fair, that's when they don't actually just leave. I'm assuming that he goes, hey, I'm resigning my commission, and then actively leaving would have been different to him going, no, I won't let you. Let's follow procedure.
It's just like with all the history that Picard and Crusher have, to just sort of it was a throwaway scene because he should have fought more. He should have been like, this is completely out of character for you, Beverly. What's going on? Why are you doing, what is it? It has to come from Troy. The exposition has to come from Troy later on in the ready room where she's just like, oh, she met her grandmother's lover and they are having the sex. So she's left Starfleet to be with him. And that's when he's like, no, this is completely out of character. I think I'm going to meet this Ronan. And it's just like, it should have been.
I actually didn't see it the same way. I thought because of their long history that he was more willing to break the rules and let her go for happiness than to try to keep her. Like, I know you so well, Beverly, if you've decided this is the right path for you, I'm not going to stand in your way. The one issue I had is that with her level of tenure, she should have handed in 4 weeks' notice.
Imagine. Just this patient who's like sort of mid through treatment or something. And he's just like, where's the doctor? Okay, we've got.
Have you noticed how she dresses as well when she leaves?
I quite liked her civvies.
Yeah. But she dresses like her grandmother.
I quite liked it, but it's strange. It feels like a DS9 outfit. It feels like that kind of. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
She dresses like a Howard woman.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a Scottish woman. That's how.
This may have belonged better on DS9 this episode.
Yeah, this is after DS9 has started.
Yeah, this is like season 2 DS9.
2 or 3 seasons in. Yeah,
season 2 DS9. Yeah. This is 1994.
I could see it fitting there more easily.
Yeah.
But I think Goodwill's right. I think it's basically she's dressing like a Howard woman, and she's like getting into that life. It's Ned again.
Yeah.
But it's just there's so much weird stuff in this episode.
But I mean, the next scene where Picard beams down, and he knocks on the door, and she's just sat there getting.
He literally just she's just sitting there being like,
and he's just watching.
He's just at the door.
He's just like knock knock. Oh, and it's just like oh,
don't mind me.
And it's just it just yeah. But again, right. The other question is because obviously Picard and Ronan confront each other because he's just like, I want to meet this Ronan. I want to see who I'm up against. Blah 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 blah. And then Data and LaForge, do you remember the B plot? Find that the source of the anaphasic radiation is coming from the cemetery, and it's actually coming from the grave of Crusher's grandmother, and they want to exhume her. Why is the grandmother's body linked to the issues with the weather control system?
Well, why is the grandma's body so full of this like anaphasic? What was it? Anaphasic stuff. But why is it so full of that they can detect it from orbit? It just seems a bit like what the? How
how much was she railed where she emanates an energy field from orbit?
Yeah,
it's all in the diary. It's all in the diary.
That's it. Having it every time. It was all documented.
Do you know what? I'm going to find the diary entry because someone's probably going to translate it. Probably
read 2 chapters of it, Goodwill.
Oh my god!
I wonder if Grandma Howard Felicia was good at data entry because I imagine this would all graph very well. You know, like
how hard. It's like one bar is how hard, and the other one is how long, and she just documents each of them. But I'm surprised she wasn't buried in a Y-shaped coffin, to be fair. Like, because Ronan, you know, he's a passionate lover, I think.
I'm trying to find the actual journal entry that's been transcribed, and it's like the one website is just like, this is a suspicious website, and I'm like, wow, the depths of the internet is where you must find the grandmother's journal entry, and I'm just like, this is kind of scary.
I'd be kind of disappointed that the journal from Sub Rosa isn't on a website that's suspicious, you know.
Yeah, that's right. It should be on a T-shirt. But I'm just imagining the diary entry be something like, you know, February 12, went to the shops, bought some apples and grapes. They were all out of milk. Came home a little bit disappointed. Ronan came over. We played some backgammon. Went to sleep at 9.
Yeah. Instead, it just says got fucked for hours. Was great. Full of ghost jizz. Amazing.
But but
it's what they're saying in the chat. Okay, I'm just repeating them. It's not me.
I'm so sorry for my mother who's watching this.
In the chat.
And hello, mother.
Oh, I forgot your parents might be watching this. Goodwill.
Hello, parents.
Hello, Goodwill's parents.
But like that.
Just on the subject, are your parents enamored diary keepers?
Nope. Moving on.
Move along.
Wait a minute. I'm going to find my mum's sexy live journal in a couple of years. Oh, God.
Sexy live journal. The WordPress website that is forbidden.
She's got example GIFs.
Too much Romulan ale this episode. No, because like Ronan gets really tetchy that, you know, he doesn't want Beverly's grandmother's body exhumed by Data and LaForge. I didn't know why. I still to this day don't know why. He zaps Picard with Palpatine lightning. Yeah. And then we get to the scene which terrified me as a child where
No. Before that, okay. I like this scene the before scene because basically Picard challenges Ronan and basically just goes, hey, okay, cool, you've stolen her away. All of this seems a bit sus, if we're perfectly honest. So I'd like to see him because no one else has seen him. And then Ronan actually like sort of walks down the stairs as though he's always been there, and Picard's like, oh, you're a real person. But then Picard starts going, okay, so I've got a couple of questions. Like, what ship did you come on? When did you get here? We can't find anything in the logs. Like, what job do you have? Does the governor even know you exist, kind of thing? And Ronan basically sort of just evaporates, like just kind of gives up the game and just goes like, oh, can't really deal with this, and just evaporates. so Picard immediately goes, okay, cool, let's get out of here. And he gets zapped. But the important thing is that what breaks Beverly out of this addiction, what breaks Beverly out of the whole thing and turns the episode round, is that her ability as a doctor and her responsibility as a doctor trumps her personal feelings about Ronan, where she goes, look, Picard's been zapped by this lightning thing that killed Ned on the Enterprise, so I need to save him. So she gets the tricorder out and does all the stuff and whatnot. And Ronan's like, no, leave him. We've got to go and stop the others and whatnot. And I just thought it was quite nice that it's basically at the heart of it, she is a doctor and she cares about Picard. And that's what breaks Ronan's spell. Then a grandma comes back to life.
It's important you added that last bit that she cares about Picard, because she didn't care about Ned. Like, if she did...
No, exactly, yeah.
Could have just injected him for this? No, let Space Hitler die.
But Ned is right all the way through, and he's trying to essentially shut down the weather control system because I think your house is haunted. Didn't light a candle, and he's just like underneath. He's somehow gained access to this like technological weather station that surely
Scottish gremlin
must have some sort of clearance. He's just walked in and immediately got under the desk and started ripping out wires, and then is killed by the feedback from one of the wires. And I was like, so did Ronan do that?
Though, isn't it? He gets killed by Ronan.
Yeah, but it's Ronan.
Feedback,
but Ronan triggers the feedback. Yeah. And then Ronan
I thought it was just ghost powers.
Ronan explains like, I had to kill him, Beverly. And she's just like, okay, peg me. And it's just it's like that didn't upset her then, but then because it was Picard, that's when she sort of started to snap out of it, and her duty as a doctor sort of trumped it. And it's just like, you're not, and we've alluded to this in previous episodes of Trekking Up North, you're not a good doctor.
I'm really, it's really, here I am dressed as Beverly Crusher, but then it's like I'm kind of a bit harsh about Beverly Crusher because, yeah, she isn't the best doctor. Like I will be hated for this, but I preferred Pulaski in terms of actual skill as a doctor. Maybe not as a character, because I really like Beverly, but you genuinely like Pulaski was actually a better crew member, I think, than Crusher. And we see all of this stuff where she's like going, "Oh wait, okay, we'll inject him with something. Yeah, he's fine."
It just
Pulaski wouldn't have put up with any of this.
Oh no,
Pulaski would have been what the fuck?
No, she sipped Klingon tea with Worf. She would absolutely never deal with it.
She would have pegged Ronan.
So
that's what I'm saying.
So,
God, she'd have turned it around on him, and he'd be like, "Oh, what's this?"
You should call him Ronan.
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 You're going to have Ronan in a minute.
He'd literally just whisper in his ear, like, the safe word is Enterprise. That's what
the safe word is
do.
Kyle Riker.
In 600 years, you've never experienced me.
Can I just cut in? Do you reckon that Ronan's been trying to kill Quint for years?
See, it's one of these weird things because you just like if he's actually but it's another plot hole of this episode of going like, how the hell does all of this stuff just happen now? Like, where you just go, if Quinn has been being a dickhead for years, surely Ronan would have been like, he's a troublemaker, I need to get rid of him.
But again, it's like, all right, so he was enamored. Like Ronan was with the grandmother. How long was he with the grandmother? Was he with the grandmother when she was married? When she gave birth to Beverly's mother?
I assume.
So is Ronan Beverly's grandpa?
No.
No, he's 800. No, he's 800 years old.
Be.
He's 800 years old. Can you have ghost babies?
No.
We put a question in the chat. Can you have ghost babies?
Yeah. So if Ronan and Felicia have been together for like 80 years or so,
yeah,
well, maybe even just 60. There's no reason why, apart from science, that he couldn't be her grandpa.
What if she was cheating on? What if she was cheating on him? Like, you know, he's like, yeah, that sex is great, and then she goes downstairs and lights the candle, and she's like, now
It's
to
still the
finish
same
the
answer
job.
though.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah,
even if they were still together, you can still get pregnant from being cheated on. it doesn't
Ghost
matter if
baby.
you've been cheated on or not.
The baby's just Casper.
There's still the possibility that Grandpa is Ronan.
this would
I
be a
wanna see a
fucked
family
up Jerry
tree.
Springer episode. It really would.
No, that's just standard.
Yeah, there's just a seat with a candle on.
But I always Jake's just commented these screenshots look like a cheap ITV period drama. Yep. It begs that quick because Crusher says towards the beginning of the episode, this candle is a family heirloom. It's been in the Howard clan for generations and it's never been extinguished. My grandmother always kept it lit, right? So you're like, oh yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, so the Howard clan, were they doing it with Ronan whilst married, or what was the situation with that? Because obviously we get no mention of Crusher's grandfather in this episode.
It's Ronan.
We don't get a mention of Crusher's grandfather.
We also don't get a mention of Crusher's mum.
We do. She died very young.
Oh, so she hadn't been Ronan?
No,
Yeah,
that's
hold on.
that's how they get
birthing
away with it, because they say after the funeral, Troy and Crusher go to the grandmother's house, and they explain that Crusher was raised by her grandmother when her mother died when she was very young. So that's how they bypass Crusher's mother being pegged by Ronan, and that's how it like skipped a generation. I'm going to keep saying pegged because I don't want to say anything else. And it's
good to be consistent. Yeah.
Thank you. So that's how it skipped that generation. But again, it still begs that question. Were they having an affair? Has all the Howard women had affairs with Ronan? Did he say, no, you are married or anything? Do you see what I mean? It's just like, hang on, every single Howard woman has committed infidelity for 600 years.
All I'm hearing is this needs to be a Lower Decks episode.
Oh my God.
Yes.
While we're talking about Lower Decks, always like going, okay, let's just add more exposition to this particular little facet of stuff. I want to see the whole Howard family tree thing, because there's no way that they're going to be able to leave Sub Rosa out of.
I think we've had a candle cameo in Lower Decks. Lower Decks.
So while you're looking that up, one thing that I'm thinking is the reason why Beverly had to be the central character of this is that we know about the parents of most other characters by this point. So we know that Riker's mum's died.
Yeah.
We've met Luoxana a lot of times. Worf, we know. Well, he's got, you could argue, the Ukrainian parents, or his
I don't know how I'd
parents.
feel about that. You know, just like this weird ghost threesome with the dad.
We've seen Data's mum as well in an episode. So everyone else had kind of had their parents mentioned or alluded to, that it had to be a Howard. It had to be.
My mother has just messaged me saying, hello, Nerdy Up North.
Is she watching? Yes. Hello, Goodwill's mum. I hope you're enjoying this.
I'm emigrating to Los Angeles and never coming back. So the way that the episode ends, obviously, the final showdown is in the cemetery. We see Crusher's grandmother be possessed by Ronan.
The one thing I want to say is that basically one thing I absolutely love about this is that the way they exhume the grave is they just teleport the coffin.
They beam it up. That's brilliant.
I kind of love it. Like, I was literally expecting it to be like, oh, well, we have to dig it up because that's what you do. And they're like, no, we'll just beam the coffin. And you're like, why did you bury it? You know, if you have the power to, couldn't you just be like,
tradition. It's tradition.
I know. But
why did they nick all the cornerstones from Scotland? Because people deserve not to have cornerstones in their houses in Scotland, Synoiz.
It's a bit drafty in here.
It's a bit drafty.
Some bastard stole it for space.
I would say I did want to see more of Kaldos. I wanted to see, can you imagine? Because TNG and DS9 were major fans of these beautiful map paintings of colonies. They use the same colony layout for like 30 different planets. I would have loved to have seen like a beautiful map painting of rolling hills of Caldos and an Aldi in the distance and a Greg's in the corner.
There would be a Greg's. There
would be a Space Greg's.
They had two sets. And I'm not entirely sure that the graveyard set was made for Trek. I have a feeling that was just in another soundstage.
It's a beautiful set. It is a beautiful, beautiful set in a disappointing episode. But back to the scene where, so obviously the scene that scarred me for life, where Ronan possesses. I keep thinking Ronan Keating now. Take that possesses Beverly's grandmother. And
when I'm possessing your nan,
no matter what I peg you.
You better light that candle.
So
the whole episode, but just with Ronan Keating.
But why this whole scene? Like, why does he not want the body exhumed? I don't get it.
And it's also the fact of like his actions are what fuck him over. Like,
yeah,
this silly thing. It's the way that Ronan reacts to everything, which makes me think that, what's the other episode of Next Gen where basically you have the guy who has to steal the life from Troy in order to like survive, and he basically makes her old and crazy. That episode there,
yeah.
And I wonder if it's the transitionary period between, like, having one host, which is the grandmother, and the new host where he is weaker or something, and therefore he's more impatient. I don't know. And I feel that's what it is. But the whole fact that they dig up the body, well, they get the body out, and then they're scanning it, and then suddenly the grandma just sits upright, grabs both of them, looking straight at the camera, and electrocutes them. And then Beverly runs in and just is like, I mean, if you're trying to gain someone's trust, maybe possessing and puppeteering their dead grandmother is not the way to go about it. Like going, I'm a good ghost.
It's a grey area.
I will possess your dead
It's a
family
grey
member.
area, Isaac. That's correct. It's very... I think every party in this scene handled the situation terribly, right? Yes, Ronan Keating was a dick. But the way that... the way that the Crusher... See, I'm seeing this. I'm approaching this from a Starfleet, from a Federation angle. Ronan is a life form that is symbiotically dependent on a biological component, right? Now, yes, what he has done is arguably wrong. He has possessed, shall we say, or incorporated himself with the Howard women for over 600 years, right? However, he is still a life form. Surely, and we have seen this previously, Starfleet would have helped, would have gone, okay, what you have done is wrong. Oh, that image of a grandmother. Jesus Christ, move. There we go. What you have done is wrong. However, we have got a team of scientists. We will help you. We will find a way for you to exist.
There's got to be women are there going to be on the Enterprise?
But there's got to be a way, and they just end it where Beverly just goes, nope, fuck your candle and fuck you, and just kills him.
Yeah, it is the epitome of going, the whole point is that you're meant to be connecting with new life forms and, working with them, and then she just kind of goes, no, just
But
kidding.
then it's like, but it's like, okay, he was born in 1649 in Glasgow, and then suddenly I became an anaphasic being, and it's just like, were you a human that morphed into this? Were you an actual alien?
I assume it's a lie.
Yeah,
I assume that the being born in Glasgow.
But there's no backstory. Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it doesn't explain it.
Yeah, there's no did he travel to Earth? Did he stumble across it?
All I'm hearing here is we need a sequel, okay?
Yes!
Yep.
A full sequel that explains all of this stuff. A redemption arc.
I've thought if the Federation did take Ronan Keating back, that they would just ignore him like they did with O'Connor. They just
or Moriarty. They'd just be like, well,
Yeah,
put this candle in a fucking cupboard somewhere, right? Forget about that.
So when O'Connor was on board and trying to sleep with everyone, right? Picard didn't like it, but he certainly didn't try to intervene. So the ghost would just go everywhere on board. What I think.
Hold
would
on,
be a
can I
good
just ask?
pivot,
Is a condo in your list of 50 sexiest episodes?
I believe he is. Yeah.
Can I Bagsy that one?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay, I'm Bagsying that one because that was sexual awakening as a child, as a teenager, I think.
So what would be brilliant though is if the Borg assimilated Ronan.
How?
The candle? The
assimilate
on the candle.
Assimilate the candle. Just put a couple of double A's up there, and that'll be it.
So not,
and it still would have been a more
resistance.
shocking villain in the end of season 3 of Picard. You know, it is the Borg. Oh, how predictable.
Imagine
if
Candleborg. Imagine if it was
And also,
Ronan.
the Borg and Ronan resistance is very futile. You know, you can't resist that.
Didn't open that red door.
Resistance is fertile. You will be pleasured. It's just literally the ship's getting attacked and they're all just sitting on the bridge like.
If the saucer section's rocking, don't come a knock.
Yeah, that's it. I just think, you know, it's a valid tactic, I think.
Oh my god, what is
I think
this
we've
episode?
broken the captain.
What is this episode? But I mean, do you guys agree though that like just killing him was the wrong thing to do?
It's not Trek, and like we say, so much of this episode isn't Trek. Like Isaac was saying earlier, that's the problem with it. It's not that I think that it is a silly idea, but it's more the idea of it feels very shoehorned into something, and that is insulting to what Trek is, I feel. You know, like they just got a script and slapped Trek bits on it. And even if it wasn't that, that's how it comes across. And the fact of, like you're saying, it has people acting in a very... Because he's not, like, Ronan's not that dangerous, and I think more communication would have helped.
He just wants to live.
They would have just gone, hey, you're anaphasic, cool, Data can wire something up, and then we just give you all the anaphasic stuff you need, or we can make a... You know, like, he could have been sorted by just communicating, but instead Beverly sort of takes it for herself, does all of this stuff, doesn't want to really talk to anyone about... You know, she doesn't say to Troy, oh yeah, he's a ghost and it's a bit weird, because she knows that something is amiss about it all. You know, it's... Yeah, Beverly is in the wrong in this episode, I think. And the horrible thing is the last scene, after she's like destroyed him, because she grabs the phaser off Geordi, she destroys the candle, and then he goes, okay, I can exist in you, and makes a jump for her, and then she shoots him and he evaporates into green mist, which we assume he's dead. But then the scene afterwards, she's just like, it does look like all of the Howard women were incredibly happy and that there was absolutely nothing wrong about this actual relationship. Like, it was weird, but it actually was really good for them and gave them very happy lives. And you're like, yeah, so, you know, it's like, it's weird, like, this ghost love, but at the end of the day, it's not really malicious.
It's literally an...
It's addiction.
It's addiction, but it's an alien life form that needs to survive. And I think that the episode got it wrong, where they didn't take a step back and go, yeah, what he's done is wrong, but he's an alien life form that needs to survive. It is the 24th century. He doesn't have to do this. We could maybe find a way for him to exist without the need to possess a biologically compatible life form. You know, we could maybe take him away and do this, you know, find a way for him to be corporeal without the need of doing women. And it's just
what you're trying to do here is Trek fix it.
Yeah.
This isn't a Star Trek episode. It's you got to remove science fiction from it.
Yeah,
you can't fix it. With
it's science diction. I don't know about anything else. It's.
I think this isn't. If this is an episode of Charmed or Buffy or Medium, it's not Star Trek.
A Charmed episode.
This would have been a charmed episode.
Oh, it absolutely would have been a charmed episode.
Still dressed appropriately, but it's a. But I do think though, like if it had just had one scene about how like Crusher's grandma like had stopped turning up for work properly, she was a dickhead to everyone, she was always angsty and kept wanting to go back to the house, and she called Ned like a bastard all the time and stuff because she was so desperate to get home to get back to that ghost dick. You know, that would have, you know, I think that would have been better. But effectively what we see is even if it's an addiction, it's a totally survivable and enjoyable one, you know, in a kind of weird thing. Like if she was just like, oh, I didn't see her ever because all she did was stay in a house, like, you know, like humming buckets. But
no, she. I mean, the lifespan of an average human in the 24th century is like 150 years old. She died at 100. Yeah. She did not die.
Without the ghost fingering, she would have died at 70.
Yeah, she did not. No, she did not die at natural causes. She orgasmed to death.
Yeah, is that considered natural causes? Just asking.
So, but it's, yeah, I always try and see the positive in an episode. Sub Rosa has been very difficult, but it was an incredibly pretty episode. Beautiful sets, beautiful house.
Beautiful outfits as well.
Beautiful outfits, 100% beautiful.
Except for that hat. That hat is shit.
Ronan, good fog. Ronan was stunning. I'm gonna say he was a 16th century dandy man. That's what I'm gonna say. He was a fancy lad.
I wasn't actually that bothered by Ronan, like you know the way he looks and stuff. But I think it's because at the same time this episode came out, like Simon Templeman existed, which a lot of people will know as the voice of Kane from the Legacy of Kane series.
Yeah.
But the fact that he looks the same way, I just kind of go like, oh, that's who I would have cast. And I would have got someone who might have attempted a Scottish accent, maybe. Like, it's that thing. He's like, I'm from Glasgow, and you're like, the fuck are you?
Yeah, because for people in America or who generally don't know the Scottish accent, there is multiple Scottish accents. My sister is Scottish.
You can cut glass with the Glasgow accent.
Yeah, my sister is Scottish, and for the longest time I struggled to understand what she was saying, and she was from Edinburgh. Glasgow makes the Edinburgh accent the Queen's English. And when you hear Ronan, he's just like, hello, Beverly, I am Ronan. Where in reality, he was just like, hey, you fucking Jeff. And it's just...
Can we redub this episode? Isaac, you need to have an unplanned episode where you just redub the whole thing, but in authentic Glaswegian.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Like the candle, Beverly, I'm going to finger you.
Can ChatGPT do that?
Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm just reading the comments. Nina, hiya Nina, lovely Nina. She's just went. She watched this episode when she came home from surgery. She was high on painkillers. It was the perfect fever dream episode.
Yeah, no.
Joe Border says, "For God's sakes, man, he was gonna ruin the caber toss."
Yeah, I guess he did have to die, you know.
Christopher says
he was going to ruin the caber.
Christopher says he just realised the screenshot of the groundskeeper right there. It looks like Tommy Cooper. Hold on,
a little.
Hold on. But seriously though, like on a serious question, if you know someone who is going through the next generation for the first time, would you recommend this episode as a cautionary tale, or would you just recommend they avoid it altogether?
I'm going to answer this first. For me, I like it being a little surprise because literally I spoke to 3 people, okay, mentioning like 3 people who aren't really Star Trek fans, but they watched it as a kid kind of thing. And I was just like, oh yeah, we're doing an anniversary episode. And like like hilariously, the episode that we rolled was Sub Rosa, and they're like, oh, I don't know it that well, and I'm like, oh, the ghost candle one, and they're like, oh, that one, and even people who aren't hardcore Trekkies are like, I remember this, and I kind of like the idea of not warning someone about it, them watching through TNG and getting to this and being like, what the fuck, like the rest of us,
Isaac?
Yeah, most people that watch these days would watch in order as well. Like you go through a binge. By the time you got to this one, all the characters are really well established. I think it would be fun to watch it for the first time in order because it as I say, everyone's established, but it's also such a right hand turn. Like you don't feel like this would be the episode that you would get. You can, setting up an episode at Grandma's funeral, you wouldn't think that that's going to lead to multiple ghost sex candles scenes during the episode. Like it doesn't belong, but it belongs where it does.
I am
deep in season 7.
I am so glad right now, Isaac, that my lightsaber, which is green, is downstairs out the way, because I think Beverly Snatch, Beverly Snatch would be very aroused at the moment. Like I mentioned at the top of the episode, we did a poll about Sub Rosa on the Nerdy Up North.
How big was this poll?
Lee.
Was it as big as Ronan's?
Lee size. Yeah, exactly. We did a poll on the Nerdy Up North Twitter page and the Nerdy Up North Discord. Now, this was an easy question this week to ask, because there wasn't really much to discuss, to go in depth about. So the question was, would you allow yourself to be penetrated by the same malevolent creature that penetrated your grandmother?
Hi, Goodwill's mum. Just saying. Yeah.
The multiple choices were A, take me, Candle Daddy. B, of course not. C, buy me a drink first. D, what happens on Caldus? I'll go first.
To be fair, I'm annoyed with myself that because I wrote these options, I'm annoyed that I put of course not rather than didn't he light that candle?
Yeah, didn't light that candle. So, on the Nerdy Up North Twitter, the poll closed an hour ago. The results are, with a stunning 42.9% of the vote, buy me a drink first.
Oh, they're not jumping straight to ghost sex.
With a very close second, take me, Candle Daddy.
Okay.
And then 14.3%, the prudes, said of course not. And then one person voted for what happens on Caldos. And I'm just like, I want to meet you because you sound fun. What was the results on the Discord?
This is quite odd because usually we get exactly the same results between like both the polls. We actually have different stuff. In the lead, we have Take Me Candle Daddy. Then in very close second place again, though, we have Buy Me a Drink First, back up. And then, third place, we have What Happens on Caldos. And we don't have any votes for Of Course Not. Well, we do, but it's bloody the bot again, so we don't count it.
Our findings determined that the Nerdy Up North Discord members are the most debauched of all Discord members, who would quite happily jump at the chance for a ghost to mount them like a lion.
Would he? It's because he's not as rough as Lee. That's the reason. He's the warm-up act. He's the warm-up act your nana deserves. For Christ. You say something and then you're just like, Jesus Christ. I'm hating this episode because it's allowed us to say the things that we've said in this.
I'll try to steer it for you. I did vote in the Twitter poll. Which vote did I do?
Buy me a drink first.
I did not.
You did Candle Daddy.
I did.
You dirty Tasmanian. Good grief.
Well, what if the option was, what is it? buy me some jam first.
Buy me some jam. I mean, in all fairness, I did vote.
Why is this candle covered in jam?
I did vote Take Me Candle Daddy, but
I voted for Buy Me a Drink First, actually, I think. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. Really? I'm quite shocked at that. It must be the wig.
Well, what if there was multiple candles? I could have.
Why stop with one candle?
Yeah, why stop with one candle? You could have a whole. What are they called? Like one of those weird advent calendars you get, where it's like, where is chocolate? How can chocolate?
Shall we
call it the Bengals advent calendar, the Eternal Flame?
Oh,
But the candle's just on fire. The calendar's just on fire, and you're like, oh.
close
For
your
December.
eyes.
Yeah, this is pointless. You know,
Give
it's all
me
gone now.
your hand, Crusher.
Ronan.
Give me your hand, Ronan.
The smile
That's
on your
not
face
your
lets me
hand.
know that you need me.
When you light up that candle, you know I can feel you.
You say it best.
How about
Yeah, your eyes have gone green.
do you hear Ned Quint complaining?
That's it. It goes right in the mouth. Close your eyes. Can you hear Ned complaining?
Is anyone in the? Does anyone in the chat like the music? Just curious.
Oh God!
You heard me
It's
sing last
resounding.
week. We are singing again this week. No!
No!
At least it's not Fear for the Heart again. Shall we wrap up this episode?
I think we should.
I think we
I'm
should.
trying to look through
asked
my
that.
notes to see if there's
You
anything
could have
that we
asked that when
haven't
Mark
mentioned.
left.
I know.
Yeah.
Next week, it is a very special episode of Trekking Up North. Another special episode, you say? Yes, it is, because next week is part 2 of our Star Trek movie reviews, where me and Science Officer Synoiz will be reviewing one of the greatest Star Trek movies ever created, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, with special guest Captain Joe Dove of Captain's Quadrant. I have got my Monster Maroon uniform, so I will be in the correct cosplay. Hooray! But I am very much looking forward to next week. After the motion picture, where we had more than one criticism.
I had a plethora of criticism, but I'm really excited for this because I watched Wrath of Khan the other week, like reminding myself about it, and I'm like, oh, finally a good Trek movie. And because I wasn't sure how quickly they started, how quickly they found their feet, but they really do. It's basically going, wow, you translated Trek to a movie, as you should have done with the first one and failed badly at, you know.
It wouldn't have happened today. Like how crap the first one was, you wouldn't have not greenlit a second movie.
No,
absolutely not.
No.
Can I make a request?
Unless it was a
next week?
contract that they had to do. They were like, hey, we've got 3 movies signed up, but we saw what happened with what's it called, the Harry Potter the Fantastic Beasts one, where they were like, hey, we're gonna make 7 movies. Maybe not, actually. You know, these are terrible, so let's just give up.
What were you going to say, Isaac?
Yeah. Can I make a request next week that anytime you say the K word within the pod, can you say Khan?
Oh, we were anyway.
I was actually
good.
what I was going to suggest. Well, this week we were doing Candleslag and whatnot. I think we should get all of our fans to film a video and post a video on either the Discord or the Twitter or something of them doing Khan. You know, I want to see some, and then maybe we could make a montage for the episode just of all of these Khans.
I think
put
that
some
is a
beats
wonderful
over the
idea.
top of that and make a song. Blame Daniel.
Oh fuck!
Let's get Adam. Let's get everyone to record them doing Khan, and then we'll bully this Viking sex god Adam to put it to music.
Perfect.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I am. Yeah, I
upset.
I'm very much looking forward to it because after the sour palate that is Sub Rosa, to actually experience Teenage Mutant Ninja Spock, to experience probably perfect Trek, is going to be extremely refreshing because this movie was a lot of firsts for the Star Trek. We got the Monster Maroons. We got so many legendary lines. We got an amazing score. Nick Mayer just controlling the whole thing and bringing that like dark naval feel to the whole movie. It's absolutely brilliant, and I really can't wait to review it next week. Yeah, I am melted from Sub Rosa and too many Romulan ales, because that's what I was drinking all the way through with my little cocktail.
So is
umbrella.
Beverly, mate.
And she was also ruined as well. Science Officer Synoiz, are you streaming after this episode?
I am. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. We're going to try a new game. I don't know how long it is, so I have a feeling that I'm going to try this new horror game that's made to be an old school horror game based upon Silent Hill, which is my favorite. And I have a feeling it might only last like an hour, so we'll play something else if we run out of that.
Ooh,
But yeah,
exciting.
so now I must warn you that this Sunday begins Drag Idol in Newcastle, which is my intensely busy period of the year, which basically is 6 weeks of my life that I never get back, which means that I am probably going to be a bit quiet on social media, so I will still be on the Trek podcast, but I might not be as invested as usual, but obviously that's why I pre-watched Wrath of Khan and whatnot. But yeah, I will be here every week, and yeah, we will have a lot of fun with it.
Isaac, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just want to say though, I am so incredibly happy that we got Sub Rosa and we've been able to do this for this episode, because I will attest, it was not fixed. The entire thing is totally random and is wonderful, serendipitous. Yeah, and I'm trying to work out like what. This would not have been as good for a first episode had we rolled something just plain, like a boring episode.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that after so long of the wheel giving us stuff that we didn't want, or another mediocre like original series episode or something, that we actually got something that we can have this much fun with when we needed it. So my faith in the wheel has been restored, I think. And thank you everyone in the chat for joining in.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Candleslag on social media.
Isaac, what is coming up for Unplanned Trek?
So we are continuing our 50 Shades of Trek over the next 43 weeks we've got. We're also really close to our 100th episode, which we've actually just finished doing, and I'll let you know what we're doing for it. We've me and my co-host Andrew and Mark, who was in earlier, we all picked our favourite episodes of Trek and gave it the Unplanned treatment. So it's like a triple episode that we've done. So Andrew picked the animated series episode Yesteryear. Mark picked TNG's Cause and Effect, and I picked the one with the whales. And so, yeah, they're back-to-back episodes. It's a really long pod, and intermixed, we've got some nice messages, including from the captain himself, congratulating us on reaching 100. So that will come out in a few weeks too. But what we're recording tomorrow, I think, is our 98th episode. So we're getting really close to that 100. We're trying to decide at the moment what we're going to do for Discovery as well. We've just gone random episodes throughout rather than doing new content. But given it's the last season, we might do that on a weekly and put 50 Shades on hold during that time. But we haven't actually. We're still in discussions in the group chat about what we want to do there. But yeah, there's always something happening where we release. We do the live things on Sunday morning hour end and release a pod, an edited version, about 2 weeks later. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to hear us if you like. And particularly if you haven't come across me before, being on here today, please give us a follow or check us out, because we have just as much fun as these guys and are completely unhinged as well. If you guys are trekking up north, we should be trekking down south, which I think is already taken by an adult pod. But anyway.
Beverly's lit that candle down there, so yeah.
Trekking down south, yeah,
That's
we should
right.
absolutely reformat.
Just like to add, I've really enjoyed being on here with you guys today, and I would have come on for any episode. The fact that you gave me Sub Rosa, though, I'm like, I don't care what time, I'm there.
with this is the thing, because we were going like, for the 100 for the our 1 year anniversary and stuff. Oh yeah, we'll just do an episode. It'll just be a normal episode, and we'll probably sort of like put decorations up and stuff, and that's kind of what we discussed. And then as soon as we rolled Sub Rosa, we were like, who we need to get people on, and it became a much bigger thing.
But it was funny because Mark was laughing in the chat last week. He was like, "Ha ha, you got Sub Rosa," and I was just like, "You're coming on." It's just like, ha ha ha.
I love the fact that you've gone Sub Rosa, Isaac.
Yes. check out, as I said earlier in the episode, guys, check out everything that Unplanned Treks does in the description below. I just want to say, though, because I know we've yeah, you jam eater.
He's a jam eater, make it work.
Oh no, we're gonna dab. There we go. I know we've had a laugh, but I really want to thank Synoiz and everyone at Nerdy Up North for allowing and doing Trekking Up North for an entire year. What started out as a little show to review season 3 of Picard on a weekly basis, sort of in a couple of weeks exploded into this juggernaut of unhinged debauchery which exists today, and we created a universe within a universe. We had Keiko O'Brien as the greatest villain who ever existed in the Star Trek universe. We had yes, we had the origin of Candleslag started with season 3 of Picard. We spawned the U.S.S. Adequate. We had size up. We had a Mirror Universe Synoiz. We've had Goth Synoiz. We've now got Beverly Synoiz. Beverly Snatch. Beverly Snatch. We've got Loxana Snatch coming up. It's like just doing this show and making friends with everyone around the world has been insane. I would not do and be where I am today without Nerdy Up North and Trekking Up North and Synoiz, and making friends with Isaac and Andy and Mark and Sean Ferrick from Trek Culture and Captain Joe Dove from Captain's Quadrant and everyone. I mean, there are so many people.
Bastards at the Clone Star podcast.
Those bastards. Mike and Joseph from Clone Star. We've got Trek Patrick, Jason Roy Gaston, just so many people like Nina, Nancy, Kelly, Colour with Wonder on Twitch, Kelly from the Shuttlepod show. You know, she's now an honorary member of Nerdy Up North, and it's just it's blew my mind because I never wanted this, if you know what I mean. Like, it sort of just came around where it was a meeting one day and I was like, I think we should review Star Trek to pull in views. And then it just became this. And it's just, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Synoiz. I'm grateful to everyone who decides to come on the show and wonder why they came on the show. And I love you all. I really do.
Oh, it's so sweet. I think it's been really fun because obviously, like, I think this is the best thing that what I found after doing like a job that I enjoyed for years and stuff. But it's more the idea of realizing that you can take your nerdy obsessions and stuff and the stuff that really means something to you, and then make content and make friends through it. And I don't think there's anything better in life than that. Like, you know, the fact that, you know, we've just talked about possibly one of the worst episodes of Star Trek and we've been able to have a laugh doing it. I can't think of many other stuff that you can like talk about the worst aspect of something and have an enjoyable time, you know, like
put a positive spin on it.
I'm just going to reiterate, it's been wonderful for me as well. And I can't believe, like, I know I'm not that involved in as involved as Goodwill is with the other people we get and stuff, and I usually only chat to them like when they're on the podcast and stuff, but it's the fact of the community that we've been able to build and all of the wonderful special guests we've been able to have, and, you know, people like you, Isaac. It's so special, I think, knowing that it doesn't feel like a year.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It goes the other way too, guys. Like the community that you've built and you know, cultivated here, it's really special. It's unique, and what you guys do isn't a copy and paste of what other people do. You know, like it's its own special brand, and you guys have a really good chemistry and make it really easy for guests like me to be part of it and feel just as included, rather than, you know, we'll have to wait for my turn to talk or anything like that. Like, you just encourage people to be themselves, and that's what Star Trek's all about. I mean, the point you just made, how good is it that we're reviewing an episode from 30 years ago? You know,
Yeah.
there's not many other
Yeah.
fan bases that do that, but it's just so much fun. So yeah, thank you guys for the year that you guys have, a lot of effort you guys have put in, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have around the corner, not just next week, but beyond that too. Well done.
It's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be an unhinged year. It's totally coincidental that we share a birthday with the Shuttlepod show. We did not deliberately do that at all. We did not totally try and rip off the Shuttlepod show.
We did it because season 3 of Picard started.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy because it's Nerdy Up North's 3rd birthday. It's our first birthday. It's Shuttlepod's 2nd birthday, and it's the anniversary of season 3 of Picard. It's sort of like everything's fell into place. And I know the Nerdy Up North podcast, which is our regular Sunday show, will be 3 years old in April when that first started. But the whole cult, the movement that has been created by Paul, Sammy, Donna, and everyone else involved has just been Teenage Mutant Ninja Spock, has just been a phenomenon. And I have met so many wonderful people through it, and it has literally changed my life. And this year is an exciting year. I'm in Los Angeles with Mark for the Shuttlepod live show, so there will be a live-ish podcast coming from LA if my laptop is not detained by TSA for suspicious things. Me and Science Officer Synoiz are both in Las Vegas in August for STLV. So we will be sweating our asses off in a hot convention centre in cosplay, getting to meet everyone who has come onto most people who've come onto the show. If Isaac wants to venture all the way from down under to Las Vegas, if he wants to do a 60-odd hour flight to get there.
I need our show to be a lot more successful.
Yeah. Same here. But it's the ability to be able to go, do you know what? This is an opportunity. We're going to take it. Let's go to Las Vegas. Let's meet everyone. Let's do a show in another country. It's insane. I mean, we did it in Alnwick Castle, the place where Harry Potter was filmed, and we filmed a Star Trek episode in the middle of a drag competition.
But the thing I will say, okay, is that don't do what you want to do, okay?
Yes.
I find far too many people go, oh, I can't possibly do that because of bullshit reason, X. Since I embraced drag and I embraced podcasting and I embraced Trek and stuff, I've got to go to London and interview some of the biggest drag queens in the world and get to meet all these fabulous people, get to interview all these celebrities and things, and I get to talk to all these wonderful Trek celebrities and get to visit places. Just the fact that they were like, oh, you can stay in Alnwick Castle for a week and cover this competition and stuff. And then, oh, you can go to Vegas and then meet all these other people. These are opportunities that come from seizing the moment. And that's why I would very much say, don't second guess yourself a lot of the time, because a lot of people go, oh, I can't do that thing. And yeah, since I started being more of a yes man and more of a sort of, hey, let's get out that comfort zone, life has got 100 times better.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well done. Well, there's always a reason to say no. You can always find a reason not to do something.
Yeah, that's it. You can always make a reason, whereas a lot of the time you're just going, what I started doing is, if you think in the past, am I going to regret not doing this? And then I was like, I probably will. I probably will think back on this a lot and go oh, I should have done that. And then you're like, okay, let's just do it then, and yeah. Anyway, there's my life lesson out of the way.
For those that know me, they know I've had a crap couple of months. Put it down. So, yeah.
Just before you talk about
the audio listeners are going. The audio listeners are just going to go, why is a dead silent? Synoiz was deep throating a candle. So,
why did Isaac laugh at I've had a bad couple.
I've had a
of months.
harrowing thing.
It's just the how inappropriate it is that Goodwill's like, here's a heartfelt thing, and I'm just here being like, I'm just gonna deep throat a candle.
I love the fact our cult leader just went, oh dear me. But no, like the last couple of months has been crap for me. I had a loved one pass away, and I struggled. I really struggled, and doing Trekking Up North has sort of brought me back to how I was. But I also, from the darkness, I saw a positive chance to change my life, and I made a resolution. And I know most people don't stick to resolutions, blah, 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 but mine was, this is the year I say yes to opportunities. This is the year where I go, I'm going to do that. I'm going to push the boat out. I'm going to make an investment. I'm going to travel and do these conventions and really push to make this a success that it deserves to be. So it's going to be a big year for us. I'm going to work extremely hard. I'm going to collaborate with all you wonderful people. I'm going to do those late nights with Isaac when he messages me and goes, "Oh, do you want to come on and talk about sexy things?" And I'm just going to go, yes.
And Star Trek too.
Talk about sexy things.
Yeah, and Star Trek too. So I am very excited. I am very optimistic for everything that's going to happen. And if I don't come back from Vegas, blame Synoiz, because something will probably happen.
In the spirit of you both being yes men at the moment, feel free to come to Tasmania and watch Sub Rosa with me.
Our show needs to be a bit more successful in order for us to do that.
It's just you go to Las Vegas, you turn left. You'll be here.
Oh, is it just left? Are we we'll just do a Taylor Swift. It's fine. We'll
swim.
She's
if we
actually
set off now.
Taylor Swift is an hour away from where I live at the moment.
Really?
What is it like
She's in
Santa?
Melbourne.
Can you trace her on a map or something?
You literally can. That's the joke.
Where is Taylor
You
Swift?
you literally
probably
can
can,
because
yeah.
Flight Radar, someone's tagged her private jet. So
Really?
yes.
She's playing 3 successive nights at the MCG, which can hold seated at least 100,000 people. So imagining all the people on the actual ground for that, it'd have to be 120, 130,000 each night.
See,
That's crazy.
who'd
man.
have thought that an episode of Sub Rosa would go from Synoiz deep-throating a candle to a heartfelt, harrowing moment in my life to talking about Taylor Swift's sellout concerts in Australia? Only Trekking Up North.
Within a minute.
Yeah.
Within a minute. Only Trekking
Only
Up
our
North
bullshit can do this.
can deliver the tangents that we do. This is why I
Is
love
Tay
doing it.
Is Tay in the comments, or is she gone anonymous today?
Not tonight, she
Tay-Tay.
isn't. I'm pretty sure she was impersonating the Shuttlepod show earlier on. So
Yeah, she does look a lot like Mark.
Oh, definitely. When Mark
Wait
takes
a
the
minute.
cap
Have we ever
off.
seen Mark and them in the same room?
No. Have you ever seen Mark with his hat off? Mm?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got one of Mark's hats. I bought one off eBay.
I thought you just nicked it off him. Hold on, can you summon him with that? Can you like?
Yeah.
Is that one of the objects you have to put in a pentagram?
What
to
you do?
summon
What
Mark?
you do? You bake a pie, and then you then just put the hat on top, and then suddenly it like Mark just rises from the pie.
Well, like a golem.
Yeah.
It just makes it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
How does it look?
It's like he's in the room. With
Hi,
us.
Mark. I thought you were
Mind you,
busy.
Mark's back. You know. Where are you in the world, Mark?
Yeah. Where's Mark today?
It's a bin in South Pond Sea.
Right. I think
Doesn't fit me as well.
Yeah.
that's
Right,
fine.
everyone, we're gonna have to go, but I just want to thank all the people in the chat. I want to thank everyone who's watched and stuff, and it's been absolutely wonderful to be part of this. And thank you for being on this journey with us on Trekking Up North.
And long may it continue. Until we see you next week, everybody, take care of yourselves. We love you all. Live long and prosper. And as ever, Miles. I've
just finished reading a fairly erotic chapter in my grandmother's journal.